All right, welcome back. This is section 5.5. I'm hoping that you guys really like section 5.5 right now. I think it's pretty easy. But anyway, function operations, I like it a lot. Okay, basically when it says you've given two functions here, and I want you to find f minus g of x. That just means do f of x minus g of x. We've already done this year, so hopefully that you understand. You've got 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus 8x plus 4 minus, don't forget the parentheses though, that's the only catch here, okay, minus 3x cubed minus 5x squared plus 6x minus 9. The reason being, when you subtract the whole thing, and then sometimes that flips some signs, okay? So now we've got 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus 8x plus 4 minus 3x cubed plus 5x squared minus 6x plus 9. Okay, and now combine like terms. 2x cubed minus 3x cubed gives you a negative x cubed. 4x squared plus 5x squared is a plus 9x squared. Negative 8x minus 6x is minus 14x. 4 plus 9 is a positive 13. That's simple, guys. That's all you got to do. Okay? Then it says evaluate when x is equal to negative 1. You could do one of two things. You could plug in negative 1 here, then plug in negative 1 there, and then subtract the 2 because it's f minus g of x. Or you could just plug in negative 1 straight to there. That's personally what I would do. Okay, and when you do that, by magic, of course, you get 37. Okay, just believe me. I plugged it into my calculator. Okay. Awesome. Moving on. Two more functions. This time we want to find f times g of x. So that means we want to do f of x times g of x, which is saying x cubed times the square root of x. Okay? Which is basically like saying x cubed times x to the 1/2. So then we can add the exponents to be x to the 7/2 if you plug that in, okay? So then that's all. You can write it as a radical if you wanted to, or you can just leave it with rational exponents. That's fine, okay? So we're left with that, and then it says evaluate when x equals 4, so you plug in 4 to there. So 4 to the power of 7 over 2 is equal to 128. Okay? There it is in all of its glory. Awesome. Okay, moving on. Let f of x equal 4x and g of x equal x to the 2/3. Find f over g of x and evaluate. Okay, so they want us to do f of x over g of x. F of x is 4x over g of x, which is x to the 2/3. Because we have x's on top and bottom, we can subtract. So that's like doing 4x to the power of 1 minus 2/3, because that's like an invisible 1 right there, right? Okay. Which is equal to 4 to the x, well, 1 minus 2/3 is 1/3, okay? And because they gave, you can leave it like that if you want, or you could write 4 cube root of x. It doesn't matter to me. I'll accept both answers, okay? And then we need to evaluate when x is 27. So we plug in 27 for x. Well, the cube root of 27 is 3. So we've got 4 times 3, which is 12. Okay? Pretty simple, I hope. If not, you're probably just missing something minor and we can work that out. Okay, come see me. All right, last one here. This is probably the most difficult because there are some calculator functions that we need to do. It says, let f of x equal the square root of x and g of x be the 20 minus x squared. Use a graphing calculator to find those, and when x is 3, round to 2 decimal places. Okay, so this is when we actually entered into y equals. Into y1, we entered the square root of x, okay? And in y2, we entered the g of x, which is 20 minus x squared, okay? And then you see how it says quit in blue or whatever color yours is, okay? Quit out of that. And then this is when you went to vars, y-vars, let's see, function, and then you said y1. Okay, so basically that's going to take whatever you have plugged in to y1, is going to take y1, okay? And because we want that at 3, we're going to do y1. You can keep them in parentheses if you want. I always like to, but you don't have to, okay? Y1 of 3 plus, and then now we want to do g of x, and we called that y2 of 3. And the really awesome thing is you press enter and it does it for you. Okay, basically it's evaluating those functions and then adding them together. So f plus g of x is approximately, let's see, round to 2 decimal spots, so 5.05. Okay, and the cool thing is once you've entered those y's, like y1 and y2 in, then you can do the same thing, just put a minus sign in between them. So go back, plug in y1 of 3, and then do minus, then y2 of 3, and you've got negative 1.58. So f minus g of x is approximately negative 1.58. And then the last one here, make sure that you might want to use parentheses on this one just to make yourself feel better. Okay, do y1 of 3 times, and then y2 of 3. If you're really good at understanding how your calculator operates, you don't need those two, but I'm telling you, if you forget to like close a parenthesis somewhere, it gets really crazy. If you plug it in like, so that is the answer, by the way. If you plug it in like this, let me show you what's going to happen. If you do y1 of 3, and then you don't do any multiplication, but then you just plug in y2, because normally if there's not a sign, right, you're okay. But if you do that, see, you don't get a real answer. Okay, so make sure that you're plugging it in correctly. Okay, so the answer here for f times g of x is approximately 5.74. Okay, and that's all you do. I think that the biggest thing is just remembering that you hit this vars symbol and then over to y variables. And then click those, and that's where you find all of your functions. Okay, so just make sure that you have stuff entered, because if you didn't enter your functions, it's going to have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, so also make sure if you have an older calculator like mine that you've closed these parentheses, because if you don't close them, that you might have an issue. Or make sure that like you don't close it after the 20. That's the most important part. Okay. All right, that's all I got for you for 5.5. Hopefully you picked up on some of it. If not, come see me later.